Just examples of how an odd
Equivocation is the use of ambiguous language to conceal the truth or to avoid committing oneself. The use of equivocation allows a writer to avoid making any confirmed commitments to an opinion or viewpoint or any particular position. It's a lot of times made useful when needing to avoid counter-arguments or difficult questions. In arguments, equivocation can be used to make an argument that deceptively seems to be persuasive. Uses of ambiguous terms may be used in one sense at the beginning, but another sense at the end, so the argument can establish faulty conclusions with a seemingly valid argument. Often, this sort of equivocation is unintentional or unconscious, as the writer has not noticed their definitions changed over the course of their argument. In simple terms, the equivocation fallacy is an error in reasoning where a term is used in multiple senses in different parts of the argument. So while the argument may seem like it's presenting one line of reasoning, the difference in concepts means that the conclusion does not actually follow the premises.
There are several reasons why equivocation is considered a logical fallacy. In short, by using ambiguous language, making misleading conclusions, and using confusing word choices, one is essentially hiding the truth in their argument and avoiding committing themselves to a stance that could hurt their position. By using clearly defined words or statements in an argument, one stance can be clearly interpreted, resulting in a fair discussion. Equivocation is most often seen in legal arguments, as by using one interpretation of a document over another, a statement can be used in one's favor. This doesn't necessarily include using one's own words in an ambiguous way, but rather using ambiguous language from a document to support one's claim. This can be seen through the use and interpretations of documents like the U.S. Constitution, which includes statements such as, "Make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers." This portion of the Constitution can be stretched to fit a specific definition of necessary and proper that will benefit a specific stance.
Here's an example of equivocation. This is equivocation because the politician is deliberately framing his statement to make it ambiguous and open for misinterpretation. The term direct transaction could be correct, but at the same time, the politician may have possibly received company funds indirectly, maybe through a higher up at the company or a shareholder. Although this statement could be true, the ambiguous language can lead to interpretation being different among listeners. Phrases such as these are often left intentionally ambiguous to lead the audience to interpret it the way the speaker wants them to.
Someone talking is easily understood in nearly all cases. Or is it? If you use words with more than one possible meaning, it's easy to mistake the intended meaning. If you were to say you're going to miss a family reunion because you get off of vacation that week, but you get off before the reunion, that would be an example of equivocation. Another one is raspberry sherbet. Raspberries are fruit, so a raspberry sherbet would be a fruit by that logic, but this is a raspberry. Do you see any raspberries in this? I didn't think so.
This doesn't feel right. Better. Ad hominem is a Latin phrase that means to man, which refers to a logical fallacy which involves somebody attacking another person's character as opposed to addressing the central argument. Unfortunately, nobody actually knows what that means, so let me rephrase it. Ad hominem is a logical fallacy where you insult the person you're arguing with or about instead of addressing the central argument. Now, if that's still a little confusing, here's a little example to see how this would be used in a real-world conversation. Dude, it's not up for debate. You can't just put corn on the cob, in the microwave, and get popcorn. Well, then why the heck would they call it popcorn? Because it's made from corn kernels, not the traditional yellow stuff on the cob. Oh yeah? Well, you're ugly. What does that have to do with popcorn? You also smell like a McDonald's bathroom, and you get absolutely zero that he would have had enough to turn them into a raincoat. That's all true, but it still doesn't have anything to do with corn. It doesn't have anything to do with corn. That's crazy, because that's exactly what your mother... So that's what an ad hominem looks like. But what exactly makes it a logical fallacy? Well, it's like the thing that the one guy said. It doesn't have anything to do with corn, or whatever you're arguing about. Even if somebody is ugly, or bald, or short, or cringe, or mid, it usually doesn't affect the argument that each side is presenting, and is therefore completely irrelevant. Ad hominems can also be used when arguing about a person, relating their ideas, accomplishments, developments to the world to an arbitrary trait. Here's another example. This time, it's a little more real world. Dude, I'm not saying he was the best president ever, but I am saying that Barack Obama made some important changes during his presidency. Oh yeah, name one thing. Well, during his presidency, he created DACA, a program which allowed the children of legal immigrants to apply for citizenship of the United States, given the fact that they did not make the choice to... You know what? Barack Obama looks like a bird. What? Look. You know, I actually kind of see it. Yeah, and because he looks like a bird, it means that all of his contributions during his presidency are non-existent, and that he was a terrible president. Actually, that makes complete sense. Really? No! Now, I've shown a lot of debatably humorous examples of how an ad hominem could be used in a conversation. But where would you most likely see it in a real-world conversation? Where are you most likely to see a bunch of people talking trash about someone instead of actually talking about what that person has done? Well, I've already shown it. Politics. Exhibit A, Joe Biden. Everybody knows who this guy is, and everybody loves to make fun of him. You want proof? How about him falling off his bike? When this happened, it went viral, and there were so many gosh darn memes about it. It's easy to look at this stuff and say, wow, what an idiot. I can't believe he's the guy running our country. But when you do that, you're not addressing the actual things that he's done that's made him such a supposedly bad president. You're only making fun of him as a person. And that's exactly what ad hominem is.